Hi folks, Dave with dbstechtalk. Today we're going to talk about the KBear KS2. Before we do that, check out the links down below for where you can purchase the KBear KS2. Also for information regarding what was used to test the KBear KS2s and for playlists that were used. All kinds of links down there. Also, I want to thank Keep Hi-Fi for sending over the KBear KS2 for review. Do greatly appreciate it. Also, just as part of being honest and open, I did only pay about $1 for the KBear KS2. Did not pay full price. I was given a significant discount for them, but I did purchase them, and they are mine to keep or to do with whatever I want. So the KBear KS2 was provided by Keep Hi-Fi. Check out the links down below. Alright, so the KBear KS2 is a 2-driver hybrid, has one dynamic, one balanced armature. It is 16 ohms, 106 decibels of sensitivity, and it has a frequency response of 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz, and it connects via a 2-pin connector. Very simple, straightforward unboxing. IEM's up top. Inside the little box down below you get one cable and a set of small, medium, and large tips, and that's it. The KS2 from KBear are very generic looking, very usual $20 to $25 IEM look. You can get them in green, black, and maybe a couple other colors, and they're $25. They feel like $25 and they look like $25. Transparent look. You can see inside them, you can see the dynamic driver and a balanced armature. If you look carefully, you can see that the dynamic driver sits back a little bit farther than the balanced armature, which sits up close next to the nozzle. The tips that are included are very adequate. Did not have any problems with them, and in fact I used the stock tips during the review. I'm okay with the build, I'm okay with the quality, and I'm actually quite okay, if I can get this tip on here, with the comfort. They just go right in your ear, and they just sit. I do not have any issues. The cable stays in place and does not tangle or twist. It's a very well behaved cable, a lot better than most KZ cables or TRN cables in this price point. This is probably the best cable for a $20 to $25 IEM that I've experienced. Shake your head around, ramble around. They do not fall out. They stick very well. They isolate decently. I would say you get about 66% of outside noises blocked, and I'm good with it. For $25, I'm very happy with the cable and the tips. Now, some people do say you need to change the tips. I don't see a reason for that. The stock tips were sufficient for me. I got a very nice sound. I was very pleased with the sound for the most part, and so I stuck with the stocks. Some people recommend SpinFit CP100s. Others recommend RHA dual densities. I don't see a reason to spend extra money on a $25 IEM on tips. If you have them laying around, go ahead and try them. Also, the cable, people say you need to change cables on it. I do not have a problem with that with the stock cable at all. I did not try another cable on it. Again, if you have if you have an alternate cable laying around, try it, but I wouldn't go purchase one. I'm not going to recommend that you purchase alternate tips or cables. Stick with the stocks. You get a very good experience, and I'm very happy. All right, how do they sound? The KS2 by KBear is bass prominent, a V shape. They do also have some accentuated treble and a little bit of recessed mids. If you've been watching my channel for quite a while, you'll know V-shape is not my favorite signature, and V-shape is not my preferred sound. But every now and then a V-shape comes along that surprises me, and the KS2 from KBear is one of those V-shapes. Now, it does have a few things that I don't like about it, but for the most part, I really do enjoy the sound of the KBear KS2. Bass. Wow. These have got bass. They are sub bass and mid bass prominent. The sub bass is very well controlled, has nice rumble, very good body and girth to it, very good texture, and you can get a thump. You can get a tickle in the ears from the KBear KS2. I really enjoy the sub bass. The mid bass is a little bit warmer and a little bit thicker, and you get a lot of dynamics out of it. You get a lot of thump, a lot of impact, and every now and then the mid bass will get itself in trouble and become a little bit muddy, and it has a little bit of loose tendency to it, but that's usually only prominent on super heavy bass tracks or super busy tracks overall. Treble. The treble on the KS2 is extended well, has good extension to it, doesn't resolve the best, can have a little bit of harshness, especially up top past about 8K, going up towards 12, 13K. There'll be a little bit of harshness to it. It'll sound a little strained when it's trying to reach some of the higher frequencies, but for the most part, it's pretty well controlled. For a $25 IEM, I am very happy with the treble. Lower treble and then going into the mids is a little forward and a little bit more accentuated and can sound shouty. Can sound a little bit on the grainy and harsh side at times also. And it can be a little bit fatiguing, but for the most part, it's acceptable. I really didn't have any complaints. I would just skip those songs when they came through my playlist for the most part. The mids, though, do have a little bit of thinness to them when you go from the main mids down into the lower mids. It loses body to it and sounds thin, and male vocals really do struggle with it. They just sound kind of lifeless and just kind of like they're going through the motions, whereas females have more energy and are more alive. Also, that affects instruments, so like strings and basses and some guitars and things that reside a little bit in the main mids and down into the lower mids just kind of struggle. They just lack that body and overall just impact and fullness that they can have, and it'll make the mids sound a little uneven. I find that the tonality is fine, timbre is adequate. You do get a little bit of that BA metallic timbre every now and then, especially in the upper mids. Things can sound a little unnatural, but for the most part, the KS2 is very acceptable, especially for the price tag of $25. I find them to be very pleasing. Thing that is really interesting on the KS2 that I really enjoy is the Soundstage. Soundstage is nice and wide. It's actually more than average for an IEM, especially in the $25 price point. I find that the Soundstage is quite wide, and you get nice imaging and isolation across the stage. Traveling is good. You don't get a whole lot of depth. There's not a whole lot of layering to it, but everything just kind of flows directly in front of you from side to side. And they do a decent job of tracking. They also do a fairly decent job of isolating and separating out instruments. You can tell what and where things are as far as right, center, and left. You can't really tell if things are sitting behind or in front of each other, but you can kind of tell if they're on the right side, center, or left. And things do travel across well. So overall, I find that the KBear KS2 is very acceptable and very enjoyable for $25. I really do enjoy these. I do recommend them, but they are a $25 IEM. Can you do better? Yes. You could do the Jade Audio EA1, and the EA1 outperforms the KS2 in every way, in my opinion. The only thing that the KS2 does better than the EA1 is bass impact and thump. That's the only thing, but the EA1 is more detailed, more resolving, and just overall more tonally accurate, has better timbre. So if you like the KS2 and you're looking for big bass, thumpy bass, yeah, get the KS2. If you're looking for something a little bit more clean, clear, and tonally and timbre accurate, I would go with the Jade Audio EA1. If you already have a bunch of $20 to $25, $30 IEMs, I don't know if the KS2 really would be something to explore, unless you're just looking for that big bass. But if you're looking for something that you could just use around the house and maybe run the vacuum, mow the grass, work out, use for phone calls and you're not worried about them breaking or being lost, then yeah, the KS2 is a good option. This has been Dave with DBS Tech Talk. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen is a subscription link and a notification bell. If you haven't already, please check those off, and then don't forget to check out the links down below for all the information where you can purchase the KBear KS2s and all the other gear that was used